who's been just explosive. So the first face. No other players are allowed in the circle until the ball comes out. It's number 14 for England, which is Tom Roach. He's actually the captain of the 2017 England indoor lacrosse team, the Europeans.
So, David, these are two teams that had pretty dominant performances against Scotland, so it'll be interesting to see how they match up.
Well, there's quite a bit of rivalry because at 2019, the full home internationals, Wales were the champions, and there was quite a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking, I believe is the phrase, where, well, we didn't pick our best team, we didn't do this, the sun was in my eyes.
A shot clock violation there for those who didn't pick up on it, so England in possession now.
But I think this England team, with their experience that they've had at playing this form, I've just got more depth in the Wales team, so we'll see how that goes. That's off the bar, which would be a reset.
I think off the helmet.
It's off the helmet, the goal.
Yeah. Hence, England maintain possession.
Again, saying that was tipped. Good communication by sign language there between the referees. One had it Wales, one had it England. Emma Hughes, I think, was the referee that made the call. Unlucky, great little swivel by Dan Watson. Passed the ball cross crease, and this time Alex Russell put it wide.
So England applying a bit of midfield pressure here.
Which we haven't seen much of today, to be fair.
Not much of, I agree. I think it's one of the real tactical decisions that coaches have to make, the risk-reward of pressurizing the transition or just dropping in.
This is Rod Stanford. Nice lefty shot and goal. Stanford with the assist.
It's like the goalie went down for the low shot and it ended up being a bounce shot that came up high again.
There's James Tiley with the goal. Well in Warriors attacker, right-hander. Fine bounce shot, overhand. Again, it's a very firm pitch now with the sun has been on it all day. Nice work by Casey Hughes, pressuring the man behind, Nathan Edwards. Good decision. What are they calling him?
So it's there was a shot clock violation, but prior to that, the goalie committed a foul. The Welsh goalie committed a foul, so the in-home is serving.
There's only one goalkeeper on the team, so they don't send the goalie off. Yeah. So it's number 6 that's serving the penalty, Alex Williams. I don't think you could actually pick that up.
No, I don't think our
one of the most civil expletives you could ever imagine. Oh my goodness!
It was clean. It was a shout from one of the players, exclaiming that shot.
Exclamation point. That was like. But it's nice that he can have a bit of a sense of humour when, obviously, his shot didn't live up to his expectations.
How did I miss it? Call. Oh, nice tight work from Wales, but they got dispossessed.
Again, and this is what the problem is. Right there is an example of the difference in experience.
Yeah.
And all 3 England players were matched up against 2 Wales defenders just by being quicker thinking, reacting quicker to the situation in front of them. And they're exceptionally good at converting those opportunities.
Indeed. So we've got 1-1. Wales in possession.
Eddie Owen driving to cage with a big face dodge. Kept it in his strong hand. And again, we've got 2-on-1. Nice save by Casey Hughes. I think he pushed that one onto the post.
Impressive performances from goalies on both ends.
The veteran Adam Wood took the pass from Josh Yeoman. converted it. Hopefully Casey's okay there. He's stretching off. I think he might have done something to his groin. It's always worrying to see a non-contact injury.
Oh, I know. Yeah. You think the worst. ACL. Yeah, exactly.
He seems to be okay.
Good.
Been a change in goal for England. So it's Matthew Goddard in goal. A rumour has it that Will Baxter may well be playing some out in the outfield.
Well, I was saying to Jana in an earlier women's game, the unicorn for this sport is an effective goalie that can also play the field. That's because when you go into these tournaments and only have 12 bodies, you want your backup goalie to be able to play the field.
And if you were to pick 2 goalkeepers, then straight away you're playing, your squad is a man down.
You're a man down.
In what is, in reality, an endurance event. I mean, World Championships historically have maybe been 8 games in 9 days. And suddenly you may be in a situation at a sixes tournament where you could have 9 games in 9 days, or even more than 1 game in 1 day.
In my role as Scotland Juniors head coach, I'm working with a couple of players who are terrific midfield players and treating them as goalies at the same time. Because I think in this format, that's going to be an incredible skill set.
You're absolutely right. The unicorn. I can't remember. I'm not sure if it's basketball or American football where there just seems to have been a lot of unicorns recently, which kind of defeats the object. Unorthodox finishing by his goalie. It's
a ball and a Welsh player both in the goal.
Yeah. Good finish by Dan Watson, the Mella Lacrosse Club.
All right, we've got a score of England 3, Wales 2 with a minute left in the first quarter.
Timeout green. Welsh need to have a think about this one. 58 seconds left in the first quarter. Obviously see an opportunity. The coaching staff have some experience between them, I think, for Wales. Richard Ord Summers, who played in the 1982 for England, the World Championships, where they lost to Canada in the 3rd and 4th playoff in overtime. And then Nick Hewitt, to sprightly 61. Both Old Humeans from William Hughes Grammar School, unfortunately no longer play. But Rick Summers, I believe, he's carrying a bit of a limp at the moment, started playing lacrosse in possibly 1966. I could have got that wrong. I need to check my notes. It was a very long time ago. Maybe he is 66. But the youngster, Nick Hewitt, played at the top level for 30 years.
Amazing.
You don't have much of that in the US or Canada.
No.
Playing for his club that used to be Old Humeans and then became Brooklyn Humeans. Well controlled by Mike Pomfret.
Oh, he did that spin move and he was looking for trail cutters and nobody cut.
But it's still the right thing, because it's like, well, I've got a bad angle.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I could take the low percentage shot or look for my mates, but my mates aren't here yet.
Yeah.
And there they are.
Yeah, I think his mates didn't quite
run
the pitch in the way they should have. Yeah.
And that was a pass to number 13, Tom Hallam, a long stick midfielder for Mella, but really has done superbly with this sixes format. Joe Harris scoring the goal, the Timperley player.
And that's the quarter. England 4, Wales 2. Dave, it's hotting up here, and people that live on this island aren't used to high levels of heat. Do you think it's beginning to affect players at all? Now they've had a couple matches.
Absolutely, definitely, because in any sport, in any situation, any environment, you want to practice in the conditions that you're expected to play. And you can't do that in this country in a heat wave because, when was last summer? Oh, it was a Thursday. I remember it well. And obviously global warming has some terrible effects. I have never been in Scotland in this heat.
Well, I think wall ball in a sauna is the only option.
Yeah. The opposite of a cryo chamber where they super freeze the body. you put a sweatsuit on and go and play wall ball in a sauna.
That's right, and yet, thinking like a sports physio. Oh, thank you. Thinking like a sports physio or strength and conditioning coach, you can overcome the reaction to heat through good hydration practices, good cooling practices, and really, even on game day, you can mitigate the challenges. But especially in the men's game where they're padded up and have helmets, there's just no avoiding the fact that they're hot out there.
And for me, it's if you take any of these athletes and go and let them play summer ball in Baltimore or in Florida or in California, then they're capable of going through that transition, and it's almost like training at altitude. They would be better at playing in heat.
I won't play lawn bowling in Baltimore in the summer. It's just too muggy hot. Okay, here we go. So here is the face-off for the second half. 5-3 to England over Wales.
This is Tom Roach, the England box lacrosse captain at the European Championships. A Mella stalwart with the Roach name, but also played long stick at Spencer. He's now back at Mella with his teammate Tom Hallam, who's the captain of the Mella team. Again, we spoke earlier in one of the early games about connections. Nice shot, nice save by Matt Goddard. We're off to the races. It's Alex Russell. 1, 2, 3 fakes. Dealer's choice. He's just guessing at that point for Casey Hughes in goals.
It was interesting that last save by Matt Goddard. Wasn't the greatest angle, and he really pinched his post. He wasn't going to give the post side at all. And so the only opportunity to score was going to be on his stick side.
And another save by Goddard. He funny enough, in the fly tournament, he had a fantastic first half in one of the games. And unfortunately, they credited a different goalkeeper with his performance.
Oh, where have I heard that before?
Because he was the medical red shirt, if you like. So if anyone was not available, he was the spare goalie. And it just so happened that, not game of his life, I've not seen him play that much, but he's a Cheadle-Hulme goalkeeper that's moving to Stockport Lacrosse Club for this season. And he had a fantastic game in the fly, and it's that commitment of just solid fundamentals, being willing to just not give 6 inches, not give 2 inches on the inside pipe. I want to take the near post. Well, you're not having it.
Yeah. Just for those who don't know, David's referring to the Fly, which is a tournament that England Lacrosse conducted over 2 weekends last month, or over the last month or so. And it was kind of the first opportunity for many to see sixes lacrosse at a high level in Europe. And now this tournament, the Home Sixes tournament that we're in right now, this is the first international tournament in the sixes format. So a lot of learnings from the Fly tournament, both in terms of rule administration and tactics and techniques, and I think we're learning still.
Yeah, and just a great power play goal there. The fundamentals come through. So they had an extra man. They had 2 attackers teasing or tormenting one defender, and just passing it between them until Adam Woods stepped in. And took the step down shot into the top corner. Not a lot Matt Goddard could do about that.
Well, it's 6-4 to England right now. England's struggling to create any separation from Wales, so it's I think we could say it's anyone's match at this point.
And again, dodging down a blind alley there, he got mugged. Going one-on-one is fine. Going 1 and 2 is tricky. When there's 3 defenders hanging off
everybody,
yes,
doesn't work.
Yes. It's that just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should do it. So maybe 1 in 10 he manages to beat all 3 defenders there and score.
Oh, good hesitation dodge there.
And there we see the opposite of just a little hesitation, one-on-one, gets a good shot off in time.
Terrific finish on the quick out from the
Matt
goalie
Goddard.
Matt Goddard, yeah.
Up to
he saw the open man push pace, so
Mike
off the goal,
yeah.
Got the goal right back.
Mike Pomfret, quick reflexes, off to the races, and Matt Goddard recognised it, got the ball, almost a touchdown position,
Oh, unlucky off the helmet into the back of the goal. Well, the top of the goal, more like.
It's Eddie Owen with the finish, number 1 for Wales. Number 1 on his shirt, number 1 in your heart.
7-6 to England, so Wales have closed it.
Wales they're in this game. Right up until the point Nick Dicaprio goes one-on-one, says thank you very much. I'll go back to the bench and have a rest, drink water, but when you need another goal, let me know. I'll be here. This is, again, it's the strength in depth that, let's say Wales can have a fantastic game with their starting 6 against the England starting 6, but when it's your second 6 who can still compete with the opposition starting 6, that's where there are issues. And I've been really impressed. Consider how little training these guys have done together as a team in this format.
Right.
There's ultimately, they played lacrosse and they're playing lacrosse. Draw a man, draw and dump, give and go.
Yeah, it's
Keep
the
it
same
simple.
stuff. Yeah, 2-man, 3-man game. All the fundamentals still apply.
I'm a huge fan, by the way, of the 3-man game.
Mm-hmm.
The box lacrosse and the variations and options they have. The Spain look. Shout out to Joe Keegan at the PLL.
Yeah. Well, on that one, Wales really pressed out on that one and did create some space below. But sorry, I had that backwards. England had pressed out and created that shot opportunity. But it was pretty far out and not the best angle. So that's a shot maybe they'll be willing to give up.
Oh, for once, Dan Watson with the unorthodox finish, but that one just skimmed off the top of the bar.
So 2 minutes remaining in the half. England 9, Wales 6.
Which is a lot closer than I believe a lot of people would have expected.
I'll just acknowledge there's a bit of a discrepancy because on the field they have it 8-6. So as we're not keeping it here, I can't vouch for which is correct.
The advantage of the Lax Lacrosse Sport Network. These games obviously are on live at the moment, but will also be available on demand. And basically for all your needs, for going right the way back to the 2016 European Championships with England. They're still available on demand on Lacrosse Sports Network, on LSN. That's the first bit of almost not football behaviour, but they're arguing with the referee and holding your arms out while the ball is live. It's like, well, we'll talk about this later. There's actually a game going on.
Well, let's not bring in diving and rolling on the ground.
No, let's not.
Let's not go there.
The Neymar. There's a fantastic YouTube video of about 200 kids at a football camp who, when they blow the whistle, they all dive on the floor.
Grab their face and roll around. Yeah.
It's like, well, we're being the Neymar. It's what 200 million pounds can buy you.
All right, we're in sync. It's England 8, Wales 6.
So you knew you were right all the time. Finger on the pulse. Another save by Casey Hughes. Gets the ball up. Jack Brooks. Love for a product. He's looking for the help inside.
Just 30 seconds remaining.
And again, the best teams and the most organised teams have a happy habit of taking the last shot at a quarter, the last shot in a game, rather than giving it up and allowing the opposition that last shot.
Shot clock ticking down.
2-1, is that? No.
Oh.
Stop the clock, and
it's a major. Looks like Elliot Leonard heading to the sin bin for England.
The green card.
That will carry over to the second half. And I think we have halftime, indeed. England 8 and Wales 6 here in the Home Nation Sixes tournament here in Edinburgh, Scotland. My name's Dave Simpson. I'm here with Dave Hallows. And Dave, just to kind of debrief the half, I mean, we've got a game. This is a close one. Why don't you take the Wales side, Pete? The Wales side first. What are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? What's happening?
Oh, first off, Casey Hughes is having an excellent game in goal. Not only making the stops, but the clean outlets. And what's great to see is Wales aren't backing down. It's not like, well, you beat Scotland by a high level. You've got some of the top players in the country domestically, and it's like, well, we don't care. We're representing our country. This is the home nations sixes, replacing the home international tournament, and they're competing. They're like, well, great. Just because you're allegedly better than me on paper, I'm going to run as fast as I can and work as hard as I can to get open, to feed my teammates or to dodge. And when it comes to taking a shot, then I'm taking good, high-quality shots. I'm not just throwing it towards the goal. Conversely, actually, you go with England.
No, I'm throwing it back to you.
Oh,
I was just
right.
going to ask you to deconstruct England a little bit, just in terms of letting Wales' foot in the door, so to speak.
Well, I'd hate to say complacency, because it is, 25 degrees possibly here in Edinburgh. It's gorgeous facilities on a lush grass. But there's an element that because they scored some goals early and easily, it's like, oh, here we go again. We're in our comfort zone. And Wales have said, well, actually, no, you're not in your comfort zone. We're going to give you a game. And some individuals are reacting to that and are competing. Alex Russell, again, an unbelievable tournament, taking his chances and creating chances. But it's not that they're not trying, they're just not executing. The things that have worked in other games, like Old Faithful, suddenly they're not working. And half time to be 8-6 up against Wales, they're up 2 goals and are winning at this half. And I would imagine that both head co-coaches, Vince Cara from Brooklands Lacrosse Club and Mike Bartlett from Poynton Lacrosse Club and the Spanish men's field team head coach, are working a lot harder this half time than Rick Summers and Nick Hewitt, who actually be like, well done, more of the same please. Wales are 2 goals down, but they won that half because they're competing at a level above where the England team expected them to be. And when you're in that situation, it's like, well, why not me? Why can't I do even more? Let's keep challenging them and let's see what happens. And England have got the work cut out to this isn't good enough.
Indeed. Hey, just a reminder of where we are. We're in Edinburgh, Scotland for the Home Nation Sixes lacrosse tournament. So we have 2 pitches going. You who are watching this live stream are on the filmed pitch, and behind it is a second pitch. So there are matches going on in parallel. Total of 12 matches today. Winners get 3 points. If there is a tie, it's 1 point to each, and they total them up, and then nothing really happens. There's not a trophy. There's not. It's pride, and you get to take it home with you, your pride. However, tomorrow there will be some further matches. These are more considered friendlies tomorrow. I think once we've gathered together, and the point being. From the point of view of Lacrosse Scotland, who has sponsored this event, this is a demonstration, it's a showcase, and so there's more of the same tomorrow, but tomorrow there'll be less sort of pressure around it. The coaches would feel more free to experiment. All right, we're back in action. Over to you, Dave.
And it's Wales on the power play, and the showcase really is the word of the day, because this gorgeous facility in fantastic conditions and the best players on these isles. It is the home nations. Wales' finest, England's finest, Scotland's finest, and let's see what you can do in this new format. That shot unfortunately went wide, and so it'll be England possession to bring it up. This is Nick Dicaprio. 4 years he played at Michigan as a long stick straight defender, not even LSM, and he's now playing as an attacking midfielder. He was part of the Lacrosse the Pond program, came and did a Masters. And suddenly he's living over here, was drafted into the MLL, refused that, and came over, and good twister there by number 19, Elliot Leonard.
Yeah, I think he kind of overran his opportunity there, didn't he? He kind of got past almost to GLE and
the wrong side of the field. You always want to have your stick to the inside.
Yeah.
And if he's a left-hander there, then it is a lot easier finish. But suddenly he's turning himself into a pretzel.
You're right. Your stick has eyes, and if he was in his left, then the eyes would have seen the goal.
Yeah, God rest his soul, but the Z-Man, John Zilberti, was one of his coaching mantras. Was wherever you are, get your stick to the middle of the field because your stick had eyes, and he scored a number of amazing goals. Were seemingly behind goal, but his stick was in front and would manage to conjure a finish from somewhere.
Well, no scoring in the second half yet. It's still England 8, Wales 6. England with the ball.
Excellent save by
nice.
Casey Hughes from his counterpart, Mike Pomfret. Throw me a bit of a curveball. Stockport playing navy blue, and he's wearing a red helmet. I don't know if it's a bit of a midsummer transfer, and he's announcing his switch to Mellor Lacrosse Club. I have no information on that, and so I'll take it back instantly. Well, this is Alex Russell.
I think the Wales goalie was left a little uncomfortable by the last shot, so he's just seemed to have recovered.
Yeah, still limping a little bit, and this time Mike Pomfret, having had his last shot saved by the shin of Casey Hughes, this time puts it in the corner. Same side, bottom right, but this time success. This is Eddie Owen.
So, Dave, in conditions like this where it's rather hot, how important is it to keep your subs rotating? Do you sub every possession, or do you increase the rate?
It's not so much rotating as hydrating, and you can't hydrate if you're on the field.
Right on.
So the shorter the shifts, there's an excellent, probably the fastest man at this tournament, Josh Simpson-Pink, lightning fast reactions and speed. But put that one away, bottom corner, same corner as the last one went. But yeah, it's
I think
cross check to the head.
Cost him a trip to the sin bin.
Yep, I think it definitely.
Unfortunate for England because they had a nice run of goals there. They actually had the momentum they'd been looking for.
The Uncle Mo momentum. They had it in spades there, and unfortunately Paul Wainwright, a very competitive defender, came through the Loughborough programme. He's now at Spencer. Old habits die hard.
Yeah, if Wales can exploit the man down situation, or the man up for them, then they're back in it.
A really nice move. Unfortunately, the feeder had two men to choose from, and he split the difference straight to an English defender. Beautiful finish. That was Tomas Rossa with the feed. And I believe it was Rod Stanford with the finish.
And we're back to even now, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, we're not. Beg your pardon.
I think one down, I believe.
One down still.
Little shake and bake action on that one from Talladega Nights. Little dip and dunk.
It's my favorite dodge, shake and bake.
Again, Elliott's is an absolutely tremendous player and athlete. He just keeps, at the moment, slipping into the habit of going into a double team or a triple team and not getting the output he deserves. But once you've drawn the double, move the ball.
Yeah, indeed.
He's definitely travelling the road less travelled by. Yeah. Mick, please rearrange these words to a well-known sentence.
Well, I mean, conventional wisdom is if you're double teamed, someone's open.
Yeah,
if you move the ball twice,
yes, since immemorial and time forever.
In fairness, there were man down in that moment, so there wasn't an extra. But I'm not sure that was in his calculus exactly.
Well spotted. So it happens always unless you're a man down.
Right.
So he's on the ball again.
And still the right move is to move the ball.
This time he passes the ball, and another doorstep save. I'm sure Casey Hughes will be looking for a warm bath later, or maybe a cool bath. He's wearing the sweatpants, as is de rigueur amongst goalkeepers. A little bit of extra padding, a little bit of extra space, make a save.
I'm more confident to say we are even again, Dave.
All evens. Oh, in numbers. Sorry, I thought the
numbers,
score was
even on the pitch.
I think the score was number, and another goal. That's number 8 for Wales. Aaron Eastwood,
which brings it to 10-8. So that momentum shift that we saw when that major foul, when the sin bin trip really took England out of their swing, it's unfortunately cost them.
out of their swing. Austin Powers at its finest. Now that is Elliot Leonard that we're more used to.
Now back to full numbers. They're starting to show their strength again. England, that is.
11-8.
11-8.
Katie Hughes is just having a tough day at the office. It seems everything, whether it goes in or he saves it, is hitting a part of his body. And at the moment it seems to be his right leg that's taking a lot of punishment. That's a push in the back.
And it's happened again for England. A little bit of momentum and
it's Elliot Leonard again. Here. He's obviously, he had his 3 shredded wheat for breakfast.
Just a minute left here in the third quarter. 11-8 England over Wales.
Again, Wales really should be looking for a quick shot to either score early so they get guaranteed another possession, because obviously in the minute penalty, unless you use the full 30, you're going to get the ball back and you'll still be on man up. Penalty is not released by the goal. And that's a beautiful goal.
Was indeed.
Eddie, I've nearly said his nickname. Eddie Owen, his dad, Eddie Owen Sr., stalwart of the Manchester Waconians. But that was a great finish.
Okay, Sin Bin is released and England score right off that.
There's magic in their hands by Dan Watson. He seems to be able to hesitate actually during the process of a shot. So he'll freeze a goalkeeper with yes, I'm shooting. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. And it's unorthodox. It looks awkward, but it's also really effective. I've been impressed with number 17.
Indeed. All right, that's Dave Hallows. I'm Dave Simpson. That concludes the third quarter. We've got England 12, Wales 9. Coming into the final quarter. It's a warm afternoon here in Edinburgh, Scotland. Wind is not moving, which is also unusual for Scotland. So, well, it is a bit, but I mean, we're kind of in a corner where it's not. So maybe we're warmer than others. But chance to look at some of the replays of some of the scoring here.
Again, Lacrosse in slow-mo is the way to go. You get to see all the details and actually what happened, what the nuances were on look-away feeds, on how close there. The skip pass through 3 England defenders to find his man, only to be the goalkeeper to come to the rescue. This is Dan Watson. Oh no, sorry, that was Mike Pomfret doing his best Dan Watson impression. There's only one lefty on this England team, but obviously Mike Pomfret can play some left-handed as well as right-handed.
Well, the timeouts are only, the space between the quarters is only 2 minutes in sixes, so there's not a lot of time for coaching. It's mostly guys get hydrated and maybe send out one coaching note and send them back out there.
And it's almost, you require a shorthand. You need to have messages and your methods of communication highlighted before the game of last night, so that you can go in, say a key word, key phrase, and get them out there again.
And I'll say the same thing in different words, which is you can only fix one thing in that time.
Yeah.
You can't fix it all.
Yeah,
hey, let me recount all the errors we made.
Yeah.
No, just like, hey guys, we need to do this.
Yeah, why say in 20 words what you can say in 2?
This is it.
That's why my timeout would be a lot longer than your timeout, and I'd get called for delay game. Nice face-off win for Wales. They won't lie down. They wouldn't let it lie.
They won't quite go away.
No. It's like, but don't you realise this is the England team and you're Wales? And it's like, no.
And credit Wales for taking advantage of their opportunities in the cases where, oh, nice.
Did that go, or was it side netting?
Oh, no, side netting.
netting.
Yeah. In the cases where England has committed a major and given a man-up situation to Wales, Wales has exploited it.
Oh, they've taken, apart from that last one, they've taken most of their chances. When they've got a shot on goal, they're not taking bad shots. They're looking for high percentage shot, as Alex Russell, who probably is the best British player at this particular sport and format of the sport, sends that one off into the park somewhere. I think he missed the backing net.
For lacrosse clubs that need balls, working that railroad bank over there would be
maybe
worthwhile.
wait till winter, because the foliage would be a bit less.
And check the train schedule as well.
Lacrosse balls are available from other outlets. You don't have to find them under a bush. But it's always a bit of a bonus, that free one.
Well, it's always a coaching mandate when you travel to a tournament, win the games, and come back with more balls than you went with.
So that's where they go. It's a topic for another day. This is Dicaprio, quoted as the greatest split dodge outside North America, which is high praise indeed. And that's a great finish by Mike Pomfret. Good body control. He was sprinting on his wrong side to his left hand and managed to put the brakes on and get to the front of the goal. And again, Wales just wouldn't let it lie. Great head fake, almost a John Grant head fake. He looked at the goalkeeper, Matt Goddard's shoes.
Wales seem very energized right now. They're being very vocal. The communication's there. They seem to be working in sync.
But I love seeing that just something as simple as looking at a goalie's feet and throwing it high. And so the goalkeeper anticipates your body language and goes down, and you've got half the top of the goal to shoot at.
Yeah, I think that defensive energy paid off. It's turnover, and Wales has the ball again.
They have to feel that they're in this. This would be a great upset. Another save, but they get the reset.
Now, one of the things about this format, Dave, is that when you are behind, formerly, you would score a goal, and then you'd have a 50-50 ball in the face-off to get the opportunity to get the ball back. Here, you automatically have given the ball to your opponent and have to get a turnover, a save or a turnover.
Yeah,
so it is harder to come back from behind.
But I think the shot clock makes up for so much. Because although it's nominally a 30-second shot clock, in reality, most of the teams here never get to 30 seconds. And in some ways, their average time of possession is probably 15 to 20.
Yeah.
So
I think in this format, you're just not going to see the 3 goals in 1 minute at the end of a game that you sometimes see in the field of the 10s format for the women.
Unless you're on power play, as Wales are here. One more. Oh! Off the bar. But they kept possession, so that does
possession,
give them
and
a full
a fresh
30.
clock as well, yeah.
And an outstanding one-on-one save. Rod Stanford will be having nightmares about that one. On the power play, wide open on the crease, about to get 1 goal closer and get stuffed by Matt Goddard. Not in a rude way, just in an excellent one-on-one save.
England man down, not looking to stall at all.
I think they knew they had a flag in the bag there, so...
Have a lash.
Yeah. They knew they were going to get the ball back as number 6, which I believe is Alex Williams, the sole left-hander on the Wales team, gets called for a penalty. And the England penalty has been released. So we're now in a power play situation. 5v4. Good ball movement. Cycling it round. Big ricochet off the pipe. Spins out of bounds as players were looking for where the ball went.
So we're 3 minutes remaining in the third. England 13, Wales 9 at the Home Nations Sixes tournament in Edinburgh, Scotland.
And this completes the men's competition on streamed live. It's the last men's game of the day on this field. We've got one more game for the women's. And that's where Wales are just missing out. There's an excellent opportunity there by Aaron Eastwood. And suddenly it's at the other end. And Alex Russell off, Dan Watson. Faked low, faked high, and then finished with a twister into the open net. Nothing Casey Hughes could do about that. I nearly said Casey Jones there.
Yeah. Up to 14, a score of 14-9 to England with 2 minutes left in the third.
Again, they just won't give up. This is excellent play with a doing the coaches proud and themselves proud. They're giving it their all to get to the top of the mountain to pull off this upset.
Mm-hmm. You see them holding ball just a bit there to let some subs get on. And some fresh legs for England on their attack.
And another mistake. Good hustle, though, by Josh Simpson-Pink. Rather than just giving up on the ground ball, chased after it. Watson pushes the ball behind to Edwards. To Alex Russell, who really is will-o'-the-wisp. It's like trying to knit fog, trying to mark him. He can stop and start on a dime. Not only does he attack 2-goal, also backs away, draws defenders out, the dodge, bounce, redodge.
Alex Russell's one of their captains as well, and I noticed on that last possession, when they got a reset of the clock, he brought it up top, settled it, looked over his coach. Are we subbing? What are we doing?
Yeah,
Coach gave him the safe signal. Nope, you're good, and in they go.
An unbelievable player. He was actually an attackman. Wore number 5 with his brother Sam Russell was the England captain. Sam went to Whittier College, the Whittier Poets, Division 3 in California.
Right.
And he was the young attacker. And basically he's gone to Long Island University to do a post-grad for 2 years.
Crease violation on that one, so it's a turnover to Wales.
And become a midfielder. His coach called him a midfield maestro, having spent his whole career playing attack. And he really has embraced that American coaching and competitive environment. He is just a joy to watch, because he's always challenging the defence and manipulating defenders with hitches, with stop and goes. With
just under 10 seconds left here, Dave,
right.
for the quarter. Yeah. England unlikely to get a look here.
Yep. And there we go. Final score: England 14. Wales, not final score, it's the end of the third, isn't it?
End of the third, that's right.
Wow,
yeah.
It is getting hot. I've missed a whole quarter. And I was like, oh, well, that went fast.
Well, no, actually, that is the end of the match. It's just that our graphic was incorrect.
Well, thank God for that. I was like, what happened? I've lost a quarter.
So let's wrap up that game, Dave. What do you reckon? Wales found a way to stay in it throughout.
Wales can definitely hold their heads high, competed all the way along, and this England were firm favourites for this tournament with the depth of their squad, the experience, and like I say, they have 3 NCAA level players on this team, and Wales is a mixture of youth and experience. But Rick Summers and Nick Hewitt have done a fantastic job bringing this team together. They showed excellent team spirit and competed from the first minute to last. And of the two, I think there'll be some English players feeling a bit sheepish about this result. They won, but nowhere near by the margin that was expected or hoped for by the England team staff and coaches. Whereas Wales, it's difficult conditions. I believe they travelled late. Is that correct, Dave?
That's right. They came in late morning, I believe.
And that's a big ask. I'll just travel from Wales to Edinburgh.